Marquette with some Vidalia onions from Gary Gerald. And look what the wind blew in. Marky's here.
Hey, Mark. Good to see you.
Hey, brother. Mark Usciak, world-renowned photographer and just a great guy and big supporter. And why you love Shuttle Fest is one of the minds behind it there that helped me out a lot. And yes, Gary Gerald brought me some Vidalia onions from Collins, Georgia. We'll see his picture here in just a second, as we wanted to say hi to
Audio.
there.
It's back.
We're good.
Yep.
You got an audio drop out. You're good again. You're good.
Okay.
Okay. We've had some lightning going on here, big storm, and it's been a heck of a Friday here at the American Space Museum. So we're glad that you're on live. And what's up with the onions? I'll tell you what's up with the onions. I've got some big onions, okay? There they are right there. To be doing this show for 5 years. Holy cow.
How many thousand episodes?
1,311th episode today with you, my friend. So I like one, so there's 3 aces in there. So I'm going to bid. So what brings you to town?
Well, couple things. Number one, wearing some Chris Cali art today. He's
Best
got
space artist on the planet.
Absolutely. And we're going to be helping him out tomorrow at the Atlantis building.
Yes.
For One Space, I think
One
it's called.
Space. The woked up, not woked up, but it was kind of woked up. The Yuri's night. And we hope it goes well there. Got to interject that Gabriel Rothblatt, our executive director, he is over at Orlando with the National Space Society's International Space Development Conference. And you can get a ticket for $100 over there at the door at the Rosen Hotel. Sorry I didn't put up a slide, but it's been that kind of Friday around the parts here. So you're here to help him out, and that's good. I'm going to be there too, doing the same thing with our brother Callie there and celebrating the solstice. Wait a minute, I'm getting way too ahead of myself there. Celebrating the solstices today, technically at 10:42 tonight. The sun is over the Tropic of Cancer, and as you see on the diagram, we're actually tilted in our hemisphere towards the sun. That makes the rays very hot and thus winter. While summer. Cliff Watson's having winter down at the bottom in south where they're tilted away from the sun's direct light. Mark, think about, I don't see much tan on you, but if you did get tan, your lady don't go out to the beach at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock to get a suntan.
Nope.
9 to 11, because the sun rays are indirect, and though you feel the warmth, you don't get that good burn on your skin. You go out from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock when the sun is directly overhead, beaten down, and then the same thing when it gets lower, you feel the rays of the sun, but it's not as hot as it was in the middle of the day. That's what's going on now. We are the most direct rays of the season. That makes, with our tilt, the longest day of the year. 14-hour day, 6:28 is the sunrise, probably in your neck of the woods, and sunsets around 8:30. All right. And astronomers love this day because now the days are getting shorter, because we hate having to wait around till 9:30 at night after twilight to stargaze, and then the mosquitoes have been out for a while down here and so forth. So, yep, I'm talking astronomy on today, and I've got my get out and get Marty. Let's see, where have I got that? I've got that a little further down the line here. My quick astronomy lesson today. I was showing you my Jerry Carr, signed astronaut Jerry Carr's Boy Scout Starfinder that I picked up on our auction. You go to our website, we're having another auction next month, and we'll be all over that soon. Any comments on my educating you about this summer solstice?
I'll tell you what, it was hot today. I went down to the Brevard Zoo for a while, and my eyes were burning from the sweat just rolling down my face. It was definitely hot.
Humid, yeah, that's the humidity, really.
Yep.
At 8 o'clock, I was talking to Chris Cali, and it said 91 outside at night, 8 at night, 91 outside, 100%, 100 degrees.
Humidity?
No, 100 degrees, what do they call it? Feels like.
Okay.
Feels like temperature there. So, Well, we've got a shuttle in the background here to celebrate the beautiful shuttles of the month of June. 11 of them. We got one that is a historic mission in space right now, and another one that I'm going to show you a neat little display on our museum walls that some of you have not seen because we've freshened up some of our galleries around here lately. But thank you, Gary Gerald. You all see the name Gary Gerald there. He lives in Collins, Georgia. There he is with Rufus, his dog, beautiful dog there. And he and his wife, Donnie, paid a visit to the studio today and brought me my annual 40-pound box of Vidalia onions that he planted them, harvested them, and boxed them up. He didn't box them up, but he brought them to me. And we enjoy that. They're going to be delicious. I'll fix you up with some of them, and the staff here at the museum. So you sweet onions, sweet Vidalia onions there. Look at those babies. Let me zoom in on there. Look how they get a little of that green. There is a little bit of green in there against our green screen. That's what it's doing. So do you like onions, my friend?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I'll take
All right.
some.
Some people don't, but
Yeah.
these are sweet, great to cook, all that kind of stuff in there. Gary, thank you for your support. Gary found Stay Curious 5 years ago, last March, when we kicked it off on March 23rd, 2020. He somehow found it, and his wife, Donnie, said that he would stop whatever he was doing early to get in and
Come in
the
and
house,
watch.
get cleaned up and watch during COVID. All right. There wasn't much going on around his farm and so forth in Collins, Georgia. So this is what I'm blessed with is you're a friend through Stay Curious and the museum. Gary is, and we're getting to know each other, having a lot of fun. So appreciate it. And on the background there, that background picture, Steve Jokem's gift to Marty, my co-producer. For 5 years here, that's the 12 lunar modules and the little nuances off of them there. So, yeah, thank you, Gary. He says, great seeing everybody today. Elena's on board. Dave Stange up in Michigan. Jubilee. We can't forget Mitch Rothman. Be talking to you on the phone. We'll send you some crazy pictures, Mitch, on the goings on Saturday night.
No brother Tommy yet?
No Tommy yet. Got Robert Law from Scotland enjoying his cocktail. Up there at 9 o'clock at night, Dean Babcock up in Illinois. And there's Steve Jokums from Fox Lake, Illinois up there. And be talking to Steve over this weekend too, as we're doing some renovations of some of our shuttles around here. And that's Steve's business, is he's got Lake County Spaceport. And if you're a modeler, you want to go to that Lake County Spaceport Facebook page. And he's got, you can't draw those tiles on a shuttle model. He's got a decal for that.
Oh, okay.
That's a difficult thing in my sketching of that I fiddle around with, is making the heat shields. All right, Gary, love you, brother. Thank you so much. You and Donnie have a safe trip back with Rufus there to your home in Collins, Georgia, about 5 hours up the road, he said. So, you were out the zoo, huh? I thought you were over here at the wildlife.
Well, it was so hot, I figured the last time I was here, there wasn't a whole lot of action going on up at the wildlife preserve. So I figured I want to go where I know there's at least something I'll see. So our good friend John Tilko is on a photography safari over in Africa with Joe Marino this week. And him and his two boys were over there. So I thought, well, let me take some shots of wildlife here and I'll send them over to him because he's going to come back with stuff.
Yes,
Really,
we've had
really
Joe
good
Marino on the show and a great photographer, shuttles and era stuff. But boy, oh my God, I still see that big elephant in black and white that he had in there. He's just a pro at that. Talking about this Joe Marino. We'll have Joe back. So got to get the flamingos. That's cute. All right, but I actually thought you were out the wildlife and saw a bear eating tourists or something out there.
I was just walking past and I saw something move and I turned the camera over and clicked off a couple he had, grabbed that, and then 5 seconds later he walked out of frame. So I don't know what it was.
Well, let's put this thought back in our head. I'd much rather see that than that ham hock there that bear had there. So yes, you're an excellent photographer. He's as all photographers, we used to carry and lug around all kinds of equipment and camera bags. In the film days, you and your brother Tom and I very involved in the film era. You yourself too.
Yep.
And you know what you can't get across to people is it's free. It's free. It's free. I had to not buy groceries so I could buy the film and the development costs to make $1,000 at a wedding or something like
Yep.
that. Am I right?
Yeah, those days are long gone now.
Yeah, you shoot 1,000 pictures, you see them instantly, and it's free to see them.
Yep.
And Tommy had a lab that I'll bet people are knocking on his door. I got to see these tomorrow morning, get in there. So, well, one thing we want you to see is the night sky. And this is a map you can download. That's June 2024. But hey, it don't change, folks. Just the planets. It ain't changed in a million years what the stars look like. They're the same stars that have been there in 50 million years. They've a little bit have changed a few of the closer stars, but except where the planets are, okay? And there's really no planets in the evening sky right now. They're all bundled up in the morning sky. So you better get out there for the once in a lifetime alignment of planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, or you're looking at Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn out there, and Uranus. And you can't see Uranus or Neptune or Mercury,
Yep.
but they're there. So the line there, the blue, is the Milky Way.
Mm-hmm.
So once it gets dark at about 10:30 tonight, 10 o'clock, the Milky Way will be, this shows it about 11 o'clock at night. So Big Dipper's way up in the left up there. The Milky Way's there. Many of you have apps on your phone. So Marty, the moon is, to talk like an astronomer, Marty, the moon is 25 days old. Is tonight a good stargazing night?
Yes.
Absolutely yes, because the moon is a crescent in the morning sky, so there's no moonshine to blot out the faint stars in your backyard. So a lot of astronomers are doing activities at this time, though it does, we got to wait till almost 10 o'clock to get it good and dark. We're used to waiting around for stuff to rise above the horizon anyway and get it in there. But, I thought, so we had full moon. We had, so it's almost going to new moon here in a couple days when it's 28 days old. So we're 3 to 4 days away from new moon. All right. So back somewhere around June 3rd or 5th or something like that was full moon. And you've said, I've always looked up pictures to see if you posted that too, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever wonder why June brides and honeymoon are connected? Did anyone tell you how a lot of people get married in June
Mm-hmm.
and then they go on their honeymoon?
Okay.
And where did that come from? The phrase honeymoon. Nothing to
TV
do
show?
with Winnie the Pooh.
A TV show with
Honeymooners.
honeymooners.
Honeymoon was way before that.
Okay. Nope. I don't know. Tell
Y'all
me.
get married, you
Enlighten
go on your honeymoon, okay? In fact, the moon is backwards there. They actually have it flipped around. I hate that. It's actually reverse what
Yep.
it should be, but you guys don't care. I do. A lot of people get married in June because of graduations, the weather's good, blah, 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 and then they go on their honeymoon. And that comes from the fact that in June, with the atmosphere, the full moon would rise in a honey color.
me.
Okay.
Oh.
A photograph I took at Cape Canaveral a few years back on the beach there. And because the atmospheric distortion makes it flat like that, as well as the color
Mm-hmm.
tends to go to the red, before forest fires and people out cooking and stuff in July and August, and then the moon in September is quite dark and ruddyish because of the atmospheric haze in there.
Okay.
True stuff. So because the moon is a honey colored, usually when it's low the horizon in June, do we have the phrase honeymoon. I know you're all fascinated with that, so.
Learn something new every day.
There, Brother Tom's on there. He's vacationing, isn't he, out at
Well, he's home now.
Oh, he's home
He
now?
is home now.
Hope did you have good weather at Ocean City?
That was horrible. Last weekend, I went down there for an air show and got soaked. And it's the worst weather I was ever in for photography for an air show. Both
Well,
days.
sorry about that.
Yeah, well,
Sorry to
it
bring
is
that
what
up.
it is.
Well, the moon will sometimes be higher in the sky and lower in the sky, and it's right now at a real low area in the sky. Whereas on our solstice, just the opposite, the sun is at its highest point. It's like 85 degrees down here above the horizon. 85 degrees.
Wow.
Zenith is 90 degrees.
Yep.
You know, where you're at in Pennsylvania, Lancaster, it's about, you're probably like to be 80 degrees above the horizon up there because of your latitude. All right. Anything to say about the summer solstice?
No, I'll probably try and get some next full moon. You said what, another 14 days? I'll just try and get some
Yeah, about
shots of that.
18, something like that.
Okay.
We're talking with Mark Usciak, freelance photographer. You're also employed at doing a lot of Photoshop, right, with the business you work with. Give your business a plug.
Sure. TC Shadowlight, one of the most premier photography studios in the country for commercial photography. Our clients are home product manufacturers. Like we build room sets. We have a full video capability. We do set construction. Like if you walk into Lowe's or Home Depot and you see the banners hanging from the ceiling to, buy the floors or buy the appliances and all that kind of stuff. That's the photography that we do. And I don't shoot for them. I sit in a department. Hey, Shannon, if she's my boss. So we've got 5 in our department that do all the Photoshop work and adjusting colors, changing finishes, and just doing all that kind of stuff. So great place to work. Love it. Been there for years, many, many years.
Good. And you are obviously a key person because you do get a lot of time off and coming down here. He comes and photographs the major rocket launches. We've had both Tom and Mark on since 1975. And no,
71.
actually not 71 with Apollo 15.
That's Tommy. Yep.
Tom been coming down here and bringing his little brother with him. So they have been credentialed and badged as photographers for 5 decades.
Whew.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. One of the first photographers to be allowed on top of the vehicle assembly building to photograph. And I know you want to give a shout out to our buddy to help you with that. Mr. J. Honeycutt.
Couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
Talked to him on my ride in today.
Yep.
Yeah, we're cooking up some more stuff together, Jay and I, and he wants to be on the show
Good.
here soon.
Great guy.
Yes, he's wrote an essay that was fabulous about why we need to retain NASA and it not be combined with the Space Force, which has been pantied out there. All right, well, happy birthday. We'll breeze through these because we're having more fun than a barrel of monkeys, I guess. I'll put my Jerry Carr Starfinder away there. You all should have one of those. 5 birthdays today of 4 living astronauts. If you were on Facebook, you've seen this slide I put together there. Ulf Merbold, the pride of Germany, born June 20th, 1941. So that makes him 84 years old, born in Graz, Germany. And that makes me think about our friend Alex Carl, and with again another delay in the Axiom 5, he keeps going out to the airport, and then they call him back for a couple more days. The ESA Eurocom, Alex Carl. Mm-hmm. Hope that works out for you, Alex. Jim Buckley's 80, born in Fargo, North Dakota. What a disturbing movie that was, Fargo, if you all seen that, North Dakota. Shuttle flyer Gary Payton is 77, born in Rock Island, Illinois. There, you Illini boys got something to go about. And also, pilot commander Brian Duffy, 72, born in Boston, Massachusetts. All right. And the late Elon Ramon, the first Israeli astronaut who perished in the 2003 Columbia reentry disaster, would have been 71 years old today. And I'll bet people with the conflict in Israel, he was a war hero, 30 years ago, all right? In the same situation out there, his bomb took out the nuclear factory in Iran. Crazy.
Iraq.
And he wanted to run that mission and be the last one to drop the bomb, Elon Ramon, because he didn't have a family and the other pilots did. So, what a guy. And I met his son. You ever met his son? But Buckley, 4 space flights, 20 days in space. Let's go. I got a quickie here. There's Murph Field there, Ulf. And he was on 3 space flights, 50 days in space. STS-9 with John Young, commander, the first Space Lab mission. STS-42, and he was on a Soyuz 20 mission. There is James Buckley. Don't know much about him. He 4 space flights, 20 days in space. Like I said, born in Fargo, North Dakota. And Lee Solid was from North Dakota, the great rocket engineer. He was mission specialist on 4 missions, 51C, 61A, 29, and 48. And he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, Buckley was. Then also birthday boy today, Gary Payton. Okay, Gary Payton, 77. Had only 3 days in space. Wow. On a Department of Defense mission, 51C, the first mission dedicated to the Department of Defense. I think Lauren
Schreiber.
Yeah, Shriver was the pilot, commander, and I think Ella Nizuka was on that flight. Brian Duffy. And you've not photographed any of these gentlemen yet, have you?
Brian, I think.
There's
none of these.
I'm
are
sorry,
my
there
shots.
was Peyton.
Yeah.
I didn't advance it there for Gary Payton. And there's Brian Duffy.
Yep.
And he's talked out the Space Center, Marty. We've talked to him a time or two. 40 days in space, twice a pilot, twice a commander, which I'd like to say there's quite a few of those guys like that. STS 45, 57, 72, commander of Winston Scott's mission, and STS 92 in 2000. And he was inducted in the Astronaut Hall of Fame in 2016.
Okay.
So you would have photographed him possibly, huh?
Yep.
You just so many, you just can't keep track of in there. So thank you. So happy birthday to them. And why we love honoring them is because they're doing great things out there in the community every day, and we want you to know. And when the name pops up, or connect with them if you're from that area of the country. And there's Elon Ramon. God bless him and his family. What a guy. The stories of STS-103 being launched because of his Israeli presence and the whatever political, I'm just going to say the political opinions about all that. Did you do that launch?
Did not, no.
The hotel he was at Cocoa Beach had snipers on top of it. Marty, you remember things like that? You drove your car in there and they put mirrors underneath your car to see if you had anything. Is that correct? No?
Yeah, they did that for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't an everyday thing for years.
Well, for this launch, though, there's high restrictions and stuff like that. But tragically lost his life in the Columbia accident. And his wife died of cancer recently and recovered from that was his diary. And part of his diary said, this is my, they were up there like 16 days, and he said, this is my 15th day in space. I feel I am a man who lives and works in space. A really profound statement. Shuttles of the month of June. If you're not a regular, and you want to become one, we celebrate these wonderful shuttles that were launched every month. Kind of a typical number, 10 to 11. 18 in the month of November, and I think March had a lot. But look at here, Mark. We've got STS-91 is the last docking with the mirror, launched on the 2nd of the month and in orbit till the 12th. And the D means discovery.
Yep.
And then the first mirror mission is STS-71A, and that is launched on the 27th of the month. Well, we've got a mission going on right now, several actually, but above your head is STS-7 Sally Ride, is the first woman in space. She's up in space now in 1983, first American woman. And then today is the launch of STS-78, and tomorrow's the launch of STS-57. And we're going to look at those in depth here in just a minute. But Mark, of those, which ones do you remember you and Brother Tom?
Well, I know
STS, remember anything about it?
STS-4 down there with who was at Hartsfield, Mattingly, down the bottom. I know we
Yes.
did that one.
The last one with ejection seats.
Yeah.
And the last,
And we did 7.
and is that the last two-man
Yes.
NASA space flight, by the way?
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
And,
that would have been back in 1984, I believe, right? Yeah.
great. As I reached for my shuttle, and Mark just walked in the door.
Yep.
And I got an important phone call, of course, 15 minutes before. And so, no mercy on me, okay? Yeah, just one thing after another, and I love it. That's the May shuttle.
we can't forget my brother calling me and said, "Make sure you get up to the museum. I want to see you on TV today." So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was. I was down at the zoo. He goes, "You got to get up there to the museum. Does Mark know you're here?" And I said, "Well, I think he knows because of Chris."
I'm going to
But,
go over and get my June
Get your little
folder there.
poppy there. So, yeah, so I know you're watching there, Tom. So here I am. I told you I would be here, so I did. The weather, I'm looking out the window here, and it looks like it can open up any minute. The skies are getting pretty dark here, and hopefully we got backup battery power, right, Marty? So if the lights go out.
June shadows there. All right. I like putting this chart together because it shows the date on the bottom, and on the left is the shuttle number sequence in the month. The first one, the second of the month, the third one of the month. And so we're at the 20th here, just off your shoulder. And as you go on up on the 20th, just landed yesterday was STS-3 Aces 111 in 2002. And
Okay.
think about this, 23 years ago, that was Peggy Whitson's first flight.
Oh, wow.
And she just landed yesterday, 23 years ago, on
Okay.
STS-111 up at the space station. And that was her first flight, and she's trying to get up there for
Yeah,
the
she's
fifth
having a
time.
heck of a time trying to get up. Jeez.
117 is in space, 51G, STS-7, and launched today's STS 8.
Hmm.
Is that right? I didn't see STS-8 on my list there.
Let's look
Could
through.
be, that don't sound right to me. No, there's STS-8's a different. Anyway, we're not going to waste time with that.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I find interesting is you add up all the astronauts in space right now. So you got 7, 14, 21, and today the 57 makes 27 astronauts in space right now. And as I get time, I'm going to try to develop this into something that maybe we can provide a booklet or something for all you shuttle lovers out there. I think that's one of y'all's beautiful pictures.
It is. It is.
That's STS.
I think it's a Tommy shot.
And how'd you take that shot? What's involved there?
Well, that was film. Sally Ride's vehicle, STS-6, I believe, and they're set what's 7.
Yeah, 7.
7. And
That's the number I had wrong. It is 7, not 8 on there.
okay, so yeah, that was Hasselblad shot, sunset, when they used to turn the lights on, give you a nice.
So you are looking towards the
Photo
west
action.
there. For,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's one of the spots where they took us out for night photography and sunset photography. Sadly, they don't do that anymore, but there's so many launches going up There's a launch every 48 to 72 hours, and they'd almost have to build a press site out there on the beach with all the activity going on. But yeah, that was, look how nice and clean that orbiter looks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the patina's not there, and there's the mission patch that we've talked about. Crip taking up 4 rookies. All right, and there's the walkouts. That you guys
Tommy,
walk out.
yep, that's a Tommy.
Tom,
shot.
good shot there. Norm Thagard waving. You got
John Young in the background.
Yeah, John Young in the background. That's right. Chief of the astronaut staff, Bob Crippen. Young and Crippen, of course, flew the first shuttle. And 4 rookies there. And for those of you that don't know much about the shuttle era, they just walking on coveralls. Okay, pockets stuffed with stuff. And then after the Challenger disaster, the 25 missions, you just kind of, hey, we all can't wear T-shirts and jeans, so let's just put on our flight, clothes there, and that jumpsuit or whatever they call it. And then after STS-25, we had the orange pumpkin suits. Nice lift off there. Do you remember anything about the launch? The
Remote. The skies were clear. You can see from that shot. It was early morning too, I think.
That was
What time
exactly
was that?
7:33 a.m. on June 18th. All right.
Yep.
And so you had to get up early for that one. That was probably about sunrise was up almost an hour back in there. And there they are in space. And Thagard's first mission, Marty, Fabian. And I always say this, and I always am going to say this. Sally Ride was always asked to be on all the TV shows like Johnny Carson, all the interviews after the mission. She did a few private interviews ahead, but after the mission, she refused, I understand, to do anything without her crew. She wanted the crew there. They all came on Johnny Carson. She didn't want the focus to be on her. So, young girls need to see role models in whatever careers they may choose. You can't be what you can't see. And I love that phrase. That's just takes in so much. Well, they're up in space in a mission that is that was also up in space right now. Where's my June
78.
things there? That's I got the wrong one, and I'm really discombobulated today. So, of course, this is STS 78.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah.
You know what gives it away?
Is
Look at the 78 on the top of the shuttle there on the patch. See it in the little red letters?
Oh, okay.
So
That's what we're going to read there. The mission links past with the present through a patch influenced by the Pacific Northwest Native American art. Central to the design is Columbia, whose shape evokes the image of an eagle, an icon of power and prestige, and the national symbol of the U.S. The eagle's feathers, representing peace and friendship, symbolize the spirit of international unity. An orbit surrounding the mission number recalls the traditional NASA emblem. Okay. The Life Science and Microgravity Space Lab is housed in the payload bay and is depicted in a manner reminiscent of totem art. The pulsating sign, a symbol of life, displays 3 crystals representing the 3 high-energy microgravity materials processing facilities, which were on board the Columbia. The constellation Delphinus recalls the dolphin, friend of sea explorers, each star representing one member of the international crew, including the alternate payload specialist. The colored thrust rings at the base of Columbia signify the 5 continents of Earth, united in global cooperation for the advancement of all humankind. The patch was designed by artist Bill Henlon. So, yes, a question, Marty.
A question from Dean Babcock. Mark, how many launches have you viewed from top?
Wait, let's get
VAB?
through the patch here first.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't want to interrupt the patch momentum here. Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Too many, and
We'll
I
get to that. I'm
forget.
sorry I didn't glance at that,
I
Marty.
forget.
Trying to, we want to look at this artwork here, and if Dean's not interested, that's okay. This is another fixture we do here. But artist Chris Callie's watching, and he appreciates that. The totem hidden in the payload bay, I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind
pretty
of
neat.
cool.
I
And
see
the
the
feather in
feathers and the
there.
wings. Yeah.
But we had Terrence Hendricks as the commander on this mission, okay? And there, Kevin Kriegel's the pilot. He's right. You're covering up Kevin. I'll do it this
Yep.
way there. And we've got Susan Helms, and she become a general in the Air Force. She's upside down in the middle there. Richard Lenehan, Charles Brady, Jean-Jacques Favre of Canada, and Robert Thirsk of Canada. All right, Jean-Luc Favre is not from Canada. What's CNES?
Oh,
Not sure,
I don't
because
know.
we know we've met Thirsk, Marty, out there. Okay, and I'd like to meet Susan Helms. Henricks is from Ohio, so, and they did. That's what our background is here. It's we're upside down or you're upside down, but there you see the blue, thin blue line there, the Earth there. So this was a space lab, okay, as opposed to space hab. Space lab is the full length, not the full length, but longer in the payload bay. Space hab is shorter. Okay. Okay, well, we'll take that question, Marty.
Okay.
I think the answer is I forgot how
No,
many.
Dean Babcock is asking, how many launches have you viewed from atop the VAB?
I'm gonna say I can remember at least 3 that come to mind. The best one was Nicole Stott's flight, STS-133. And the reason for that being as good and some of my favorite and best shots was because of the time of day and the sky. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was late afternoon, like 4 o'clock. The sun was at my back, and it was just perfect. I mean, some of my favorite shots in the entire 30-year program was from STS-133.
That was February 453, so
Yep.
that was a sunset almost in the middle of winter there.
Yep.
And yep, Nicole Stott, Lindsay was the commander, Bo
Yep.
the pilot, Barrett Bowen and Benjamin Drew on
Yep.
that last flight of Discovery, and I was just launched by Mike Leinbach. I talked to Mike a little bit ago today. Always love the hatch covers that Mike has
Yep.
loaned us in our museum there. So. Good question, Dean. How about how many landings did you see up at the VAB?
Oh, geez. I think about the same number, about 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, God, I can't remember the exact missions. My brother's the one with the photographic memory with the mission. You show him a picture, he can tell you exactly which flight it was, who was on it, and everything. I mean, he's great about that stuff. Me, I was just concentrating on.
That's because he's
making
sitting there
sure.
with Alzheimer flashcards
Well, I don't
of
know
shuttle
what
missions
I
to
don't
keep
know
his
what he
memory
does,
fresh
but
there.
it works.
That's what I do. I'm telling you, I kind of concentrate
Yeah.
on my brain exercising on all this shuttle stuff and do the best I can. But I always have Steve Jochum straighten us out there. So.
Yep. Well, you got to remember too, whether the launch or a landing. When I was up there for those, especially in that point in the program, it was all film. Now, Nicole's was digital, but I mean, the earlier ones, like back in the 80s,
yeah.
90s, and whatever, I mean, you're constantly thinking and you're counting down shots in your head, and it's,
Because you only had 24 photos or maybe 36.
Yep.
But then you had to drive home to Pennsylvania 15 hours
process them.
away to even know if your shots worked, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying earlier. You wouldn't know for 24 hours sometimes or longer whether your brother had a lab, so
Yep.
you go right in there. But if you didn't, you'd be dropping them off to
CB.
Carlton at CVS.
Well, I was
And
I was
asking him
pretty,
when was
pretty
the last
good.
time you cleaned the chemicals, okay? Because as if it was a year ago,
That's right. I
I
want
think
a
I'll go
fresh
down to
thumb.
the other one. Steve Jokums agrees at 100% that he saw 133
Mhm.
from the Banana Creek viewing
Mhm.
site. So, and that it was a gorgeous
yeah.
launch there. So we're talking here with Mark Usciak, who's been to more than 70 shuttle launches, something like that.
I don't know. Well, not me personally, but between me, my brother Steve, and Bob, I think
Steve Nolte and
Yep.
Bob Pearson as
Preston,
their
yep,
buddies
and
that helped.
my brother, yep.
And you will soon see in the American Space Museum a real Hasselblad camera setup of how their remote cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother Tom and I've talked about it, and one day you'll bring it down here.
Yep.
And I've got a spot for it,
Okay.
and I'll show you when we leave where I'm going to put it, and it'll be pointing at our shuttle, and it'll be like you are at how these guys get these fabulous shots. So. Looking forward to that. And we'll see another fabulous shot here. Just a minute. All right. Got any more questions? Just bring them on. We're going to end the show here with this STS-57 that is launched on tomorrow, June 21st, 1993. Okay, that's getting up to be 32 years ago. And this was Endeavour. The STS-57 crew patch depicts the orbiter maneuvering to retrieve the European Space Agency's microgravity experiment satellite called Eureka. The first commercial space laboratory, Space Hab, is shown in the payload bay. Its characteristic shape is represented by the inner red border of the patch. Ooh, I see that.
Yeah.
It's because it's lopped off at the top,
Yep.
so and they turn it upside down. The 3 gold plumes surrounding the 5 stars trailing Eureka are suggestive of the U.S. astronaut logo. The 5 gold stars, together with the shape of the orbiter's mechanical arm, form mission number 57. Who knew that?
There you go.
5 stars and the 7. Which was used on STS-7.
Little Chris Cali Easter eggs in there. Right?
Yeah. The 6 stars of the American flag represent the 6 astronauts who comprise the crew. Ronald Grabe was the commander. He just had a birthday recently. Brian Duffy, birthday boy, was the pilot of this. And his birthday, a day after his birthday. That had to be cool. David Lowe, who passed away of cancer, was the payload commander. Nancy Sherlock. Don't know much about her. Peter Wissoff is married to brunette. He's married to spacewalk aborted with Tom Jones. I will think of it in a minute. And Janice Voss, who had 5 missions and passed away of cancer on there. And Peter Wissoff, there, Jokums, is married to...
Doesn't he know?
He'll know.
He'll
Someone
type
will.
it in.
I can see her.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
we'll get it
it'll
out there.
pop up.
Rocket Lady Elizabeth Schneider is watching. You know Elizabeth Schneider. She's at the National Space Society's ISDC in Orlando. And I'll be there all day Sunday and be helping present Jay Honeycutt's A Brief History of Human Spaceflight. And Elizabeth, I'm going to bring Sally and Neil with me there. Take the handprints there so to represent there. Jernigan. That's her name, Tamara Jernigan. Married to Wissoff. So that took me a while. So yeah, let's see. Go ahead, Marty, with the question.
What's the comment from your brother Tom? Says, Mark, your first VAB roof landing was 41G.
41G. Okay.
All right. And he got me Tammy Jernigan there. And Rocket Lady's happy I'm going to be bringing Neil and Sally with me. And Neil Armstrong, of course, and Sally Ride on our handprints there. So the least I could do for an awesome event that's being chaired by our executive director of our foundation, Gabriel Rothblatt. And We are 7 months into a journey that we both never thought would happen in our lives, and taken advantage of it, and hopefully you'll see more and more improvements in all areas of our museum. There's the rocket launch. That you guys House of Blood?
Yep, that's from the beach road.
The birds remind me of Challenger 51L, but
I don't. My brother probably knows what launch that is. Which one?
50. This was launched at 9:07 a.m.
Okay.
on the could have been the first day of spring, and because it floats around the 20th and 21st, so
Okay.
the sun would have been up about 40 degrees on that one. There they are in space. Okay, that's Janice Voss on the other side. There, of course, is a Jerry Ross, and Spurlock's in the middle there. David Lowe in the upper right-hand corner is the son of George Lowe, NASA manager.
Okay.
And that's Wissoff in the lower left. Brian Duffy, boy, look how young he looks there. He
geez.
made that's our group watching today. So there's the Space Hab, not Lab. This was flown, I'm going to guess, over 20 times. Pretty big number. And this was what was in the payload bay, this very one, when Columbia re-entered wrongly. And there's an EVA astronaut on the back there. That might be Wissoff. On the back side, the other side of it, towards the OM pods, is a picture. But it was something we had in our museum that I decided would go on our space worker wall. And there it is in the upper right. This is our space worker gallery. Marty's in the upper right-hand picture of it in the Grumman group. This is typical space worker things, but this big banner in the back there, signed by the crew members, we put up not too long ago. When I found that it was space flown, there is the picture of the autographs of the astronauts. Way cool. And it was on that blue arrow points to it in the display we put up, that this is the payload cover flown in space, signed by the astronauts, all right, on June 21st to July 1st. And nothing jazzes me more than to walk around our museum and see an artifact that's occurring in space on that date in history. And rarely do we have a space flown item like this is here. So none of you have saw this, I don't think, that are watching today. It wasn't up during Shuttle Fest, so something else to look forward to when you come here is there will be a lot of renovations of our museum. In fact, we've got somebody tasked right now to clean up some of our models around here that have been sorely neglected, and not for any point to finger at anybody. It's just time that we refresh the museum, as Shuttle Fest and some other events have afforded us the ability to do that. So, buddy, that's our show for today.
Alrighty.
You've probably been on about 8 of them, maybe, something like that.
You want me
Give
to
a
read
shout
these?
out to everybody watching today.
Alrighty, we got RG Jubilee, Mr. Steve Jokum, Dean Babcock, Robert Law, Carlton Bailey, Mitch Rothman, Dave Stange, Elena. You're going to have to help me with that last name.
Elena Adkahera.
Alrighty.
She is in South Africa.
Ah, okay. Hey, Elena. Gary Gerald, Tom Celentano, Brother Tommy, Usciak, and Rocket Lady Elizabeth. All watchers.
That's right. You met Elizabeth, right?
So, Shuttle Fest.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think-
Shuttle Fest.
Yep.
She's got a tour company that's booming, and Galactic. I got my bidet onion here to help me. Well, she did a great show up there, and Galactic tours something. So, but a good friend of the museum. She's a big supporter out there at the Space Force Sands History Museum. Have you been out there and seen
I
the
haven't
reno
seen
of it?
No, I might.
You're
Is
gonna
that
miss
open
that.
tomorrow?
Yeah, get over there tomorrow.
Is that, okay.
Well, you have to ask Chris and get his permission
Okay.
because you're on his clock.
Okay.
Okay. So make sure you get Chris Callie's permission, as both of us will be out helping the master of photography. That is not a photograph of Ed White. That is a beautiful painting by Chris Callie of Jim
Yep.
McDivitt's famous shot
Shot of
there.
Ed White.
And so we're going to go to the One Space event Saturday, and then I will be at the in Orlando at the ISDC.
Say hi to Bert for me.
I'll do that.
All right.
Bert will be busy there. Tom Colbert, thank you for watching today.
Well,
And Hun.
Yep.
Okay, Galactic Medallion. And is it Hun, Marty?
HVN.
HGN.
B.
Okay.
B.
HV, like Victor.
HGN.
B.
Who reminds us that that person reminds us. Wait, where'd that go? I saw something like some nice philosophical thinking there. And
It's gone.
okay. And Galactic Medallion is Elizabeth Schneider's business there. You're so welcome and so well deserved. Bring those tour people to us. That's why I'm schmoozing with her there. So we can get our little entry fee and
Get 'em
they
in
buy
the
some of
door.
our trinkets. So thank you, big guy. There, Gary Gerald. If you wondered what he looked like, he is a man's man, a farmer in the middle of Georgia there, and brought us 40 pounds of Adelia onions. So you take them back and I'll make sure your brother Tom's got a good sack of them there. So, Brother Mark, anything you'd like to share that we haven't done?
Nope. I'm off to the Z to meet Johnny. So I
Zarellas, okay.
I have to give him the shots from the drink challenge. I brought all the astronaut scholarship foundation Hall of Fame banquet.
Where they raised money at a
Yep.
drink challenge of astronaut Katie Coleman, Scooter,
Yep, and Bob Cabana.
and at a late entry was L.A.
Yep.
Lopez Allegra.
Alegria. Yep.
Have you ever seen anybody pay $1,000 for a drink? How about $2,200
Not
that
even in the
Charles Bolden,
movies, yeah.
Charlie Bolden paid for L.A.'s dry martini, but it was money raised for the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation.
They did really
And
well.
that's what we're going to be doing in June. June 20th and 21st will be the official date of Shuttle Fest 5. We will be signing the contract next week and rolling out the save the date info on that, but we're telling you ahead of time. Look at your calendar. You can put it in ink now, 20 and 21st, which will not only be the first day of spring or summer, I mean, but somebody mentioned it might be Father's Day weekend.
Okay.
So if it was Mother's Day weekend, we might have a harder time competing against that. But hey, bring Dad down to Shuttle Fest or enjoy the beach. We're not going to worry about that. We've got a certain amount of target members we're looking for, and that's the way it'll work. So Marty is doing a great job. We've already had 3 meetings, doing a great job of spearheading our committees, as it allowed me to be in the background and work on the vendors, and not vendors, but sponsors for our events. So thanks a lot, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. All right. Until then, what a great week of Stay Curious. Bob Granath, didn't thank him, Marty. He's up to 270 some views of his program yesterday on Alexei Leonov's spacewalk of Voskhod 2. So if you missed that yesterday, go back and look. And if you get bored, there's over 1,000 Stay Curious episodes on our American Space Museum YouTube channel. Tell your friends to check us out. I think they won't be disappointed in the content that we present. And they may be disappointed in how I present it, but other than that,
It's always an adventure, buddy. You do
skip
great.
me
You
and
do
just
good.
go to our space worker heroes, and there's some good stuff on there. So until then, till next time, I'm Mark Marquette with Mark Usciak sitting beside me, saying what? We can't wait to see you again to bridge the space between us. Vidalias.